Hello and welcome back to this month's episode of the K-pop review. This is the What is K-pop podcast, in which I talk all things K-pop. My name is Sophie. I don't even know what I talk about. Yeah, I just talk about K-pop and also just like really random stuff, and then it kind of gets onto my own life. If you're just tuning in for this episode, then you'll suddenly very well get to know the fact that the noise quality of this podcast is terrible. I'm not the best host. And I like to talk a lot about myself, but it's all in good fun. So these reviews, they obviously like the headings change per kind of what happens and like the way in which I try and describe things. So this month we have company changes, donations, any weddings that went on, release announcements like comebacks, any debuting information that we've gotten, legal action, hiatuses, as well as just general health announcements, member changes, military announcements, music shows, births/pregnancies, anyone who's passed away unfortunately, new ambassadorships, my voice cracking, tour/performance announcements, as well as just general things that I don't think have a category. But if you find anything that you would want like a separate category for, then feel free to tell me. Or if not, then we're just going to get on with it. So first up we have our company changes. So Yoo In-ah has signed with CRB Entertainment, and Park Hyun-sik has signed with Reve, founded by a long-term friend. Jun Ji-hyun has created his own agency called Peachy Company. Lee Seung-kyun has signed with Fantasia. Lee Soo-hyuk has signed with Saram Entertainment. Pentagon's I can't speak. Huey has left Cube Entertainment after 9 years, and Chun Woo-hee has renewed their contract for 4 years with Blitzway Entertainment. As well as Boys 2 Planet members Park Nuri and Kim Mingjun have signed with Mod House, and we'll talk about them more in just a second. Obviously, I should also just clarify that like if you've seen something and it's not listed in here, it's probably because I didn't see it or I forgot, because I kept on forgetting that I was meant to list out everything that's happened over the month. So there might be things that I've missed, unfortunately. And I'm pretty sure I've missed some donations. NCT's Do-young has donated 100 million Korean won to children and teenagers in need. Weddings. Yoon Sun-woo and Kim Ga-eun to get married after a decades-long relationship. Girls' Day, Minna is to get married to Eun Ju-wan. And Chae Yoo-so, who is an actress, is going to get married to Kim Tae-hyun from DPNS. I am not saying the group's name because it is not appropriate, but it's banned. Release announcements. Woo. My actual favourite part of the whole entire episode. I get to talk about music, which, I mean, at the end of the day, this is exactly what the podcast is about. It's all about Korean music and, Asian music, I should say. But then also I have talked about the Pussycat Dolls, and I've talked about TV shows, and I just generally talk about my life. So what is this podcast even about? So Purple Kiss, they had their comeback on the 16th of July. I can't speak. It's gonna search Top Memento on Spotify. I Miss Mine. It's a single with the title track Do Re Mi, Lost and Found, and VV. Sounds cool. 9 minutes and 11 seconds for the whole EP, if you want to listen to them. Extraordinary Heroes released a single on the 7th of July, which actually comes off of a scandal from Chun Seo, in which he kind of started to talk about some really weird stuff about I can't remember the exact details of it, but I do know that it alluded to stuff about taking the best parts of people and essentially making the best human. And I was just like, that's interesting. We're not going to delve too much into that. But I knew obviously that I would have to talk about it here. And I was like, that's not good. And then it was like, Extraordinary Heroes to release a single. And I was like, oh shit, that's going to be interesting. Okay, you do you, boo, you do you. But there doesn't seem to be too much backlash continuing on for the group. I think it only went on for a couple of days and then it just sort of kind of chilled out. I'm like, how about we don't get into eugenics and creating the perfect person, because that is a rabbit hole that you can't get yourself out of. Okay. Stacey released a single on the 23rd of July, which again I will just search for. I actually did an episode earlier today on Stacey, which will be out next Friday. If it wants to load, that would be perfect. Thank you. Special single, I Want It. Of course, the title track, I Want It, Boy, and Honestly. I have listened to I Want It, I believe, and I think I liked it. Honestly, I just don't write down my feelings on things, so then when I'm coming back to it, I'm trying to remember, but then I just can't. The boys released their 10th mini album on the 28th of July, and I'm gonna be completely honest with you, I haven't I knew it was coming, but I haven't seen it. The music video hadn't been recommended to me. I've not heard anything about it, and I do think, unfortunately, the stuff with Hackneon did affect this, because he was kicked out and then it was announced that they would be having a comeback, and I can't help but think that perhaps they should have waited a little bit longer, or at the very least waited until they had another comeback with 100 before kicking Hackneon out. But I do understand why they did it, because the company is very small, and at the end of the day they kind of have to do what's in the best interests of the company, and if a scandal is going to affect things, then I think perhaps they did do the right thing. Yeah, I don't know. So I'm just speaking out into the universe, and if it's all right, then I guess it's, yeah. So NMIX, it was announced that they would be making a comeback in October, and I think I can speak for a lot of people in the hopes that this is actually their first full-length album, because they have only released EPs and singles until now, but you never know. Just off the top of my head, from what I remember, Stray Kids released their first album in 2020. I think it was June 2020, and they debuted in March 2018. So it was only about 2.5 years, and it's been 3.5 thereabouts since NMIX debuted, and they've only had singles and EPs. So I definitely do think they're due for an album. But that being said, aespa, they also took their sweet time to release an album. They debuted in November 2020, and it wasn't until, I want to say it was May, or it could have been March of 2024. So that was three and a half or so years. So it's about the same amount of time, but they're under two completely different companies. So I don't know, but I do hope that this is their first full-length album. Yeah, no, I do quite like NMIX actually. I actually prefer their earlier stuff, up until the Love Me Like This album, because that was the last time I really it was my first and last comeback that I really took notice of. Because when they debuted, I was like, I ain't touching that with a 10-foot pole. And then when Dice came out, I was just like, nah, I'm still good. I don't wanna listen to them. Then Anissa Bay, when Ginny left, I was like, okay, well I guess I'll listen to them now. Yeah, no, I think their first two singles and their digital stuff and Espargo, or however it's called, are really good. And I also listened to Roller Coaster and Party O'Clock, and I think that was the last time I kind of really liked, or at least was willing to listen to NMIX. Not that I don't like them, because I'm absolutely sure that like the people who want to listen to that, like want to support NMIX really do, and that like they're gonna be good. It's just that I don't know. There's just something about their music that just doesn't resonate with me, and just I feel like it's the JYP music in general. Just sometimes, just like it like misses the mark a little bit for me. So I've noticed that with Stray Kids' music, they're not as good, and like Niju, the Japanese group who are under JYP, their music has never really done it for me, and Vicha, they most certainly don't do it. Itzy less so, but I think it's like been since I kind of want to say it's been since like Niju debuted, and like we had sneakers from Itzy, and I want to say like S Class from Stray Kids. It's kind of been a bit hit or miss with me with JYP. I don't know if it's just like their producers or like kind of how things go, or maybe it's the water in JYP, man. It just kind of goes a bit weird. But like no, it just doesn't do it for me anymore. Or at least it's not as much as it used to. But I have no doubt that I will kind of improve. With JYP being said, actually, Stray Kids will be making a comeback on the 24th, 22nd, sometime in that general area, with their fourth album, Karma, which will be their first domestic comeback in over a year. And if you don't know what that means, so basically they released like a mixtape and some other stuff this like last year, and they also released a full-length Japanese album in November, and they just released an EP back in June, I think. So this will be their first Korean release in quite a while. I love how they just got into like random feelings about JYP as a company. But no, I don't like have any like real exact hatred for their music. It just doesn't music in the way that they're like older stuff did. They've done quite a lot. Yeah, so they released Giant, which is their second Japanese album, on the 13th of November. Then they released two, and then Karma will be released on the 22nd, which is actually surprisingly very close to their second album, which was No Easy 4 years ago. I'm freaking out. God, I just did that thing. Do you ever do that? Where in which you tell yourself something and then you actually like register it and you're, oh my god, I'm old. That came out just before I turned 18. I feel like I just went through like all of the stages of grief in the space of about a second. I don't feel well. I'm like, oh god, that is so long ago. Oh, that was like my first comeback as like I guess like a stay technically, but like I don't consider myself like a. Oh god. No, 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 no. Let's carry on. Let's just move on, please. Let's just move on. So Jake, or JVK, is to collaborate with Jiwon Taehyun, even though I'm pretty sure that release already came out. aespa to make a September comeback, which I'm very pleased about. Monster X is to make a September the 1st comeback. The first one with all 6 members, hopefully, in 4 years. Kiki to make their first ever comeback, which is the Starship new girl group. Lee Junyoung to make his first ever solo comeback. Red Velvet's Joy to make her first comeback. NCT Wish to make a summer comeback. Woods is making a comeback after being discharged. Taehyung or V from BTS is to make an August comeback, hopefully. And Narvis is also releasing her first ever comeback in September or August. I don't know. She's AI. She can come back whenever she wants to. Debuting information. Woo. Favourite thing. So the Mod House boy group is to debut 3 units. You never met. Yes, we are. And it's not over. I remember actually when I found out about that, it was really hot and I was just laying on the dining room floor and my mum comes through to me and she's like, "Are you okay, Sophie?" And I like looked up at her and I was like, "Yes, mummy. We now know the debut unit names of Mod House's new group." And she looked down at me and she was like, "I don't know what you're talking about, Sophie, but I'm pleased you're happy." She likes to do that. But she's just like, yeah, okay, my child is weird. Sunghan, who was in Rise, but then got shut down the 1st of July. I've not actually listened to the songs yet, but I will do. Mingyu and Sungchul from 17 to potentially debut as a subunit. Big Hit will be debuting their new boy group on the 18th of August. To 8 has made their debut, which is the group from school. Haechan from NCT 127 and Dream to make his solo debut. Astro's Jinjin and MJ to make a unit debut as Zoon Easy. What I don't get is why they don't just release something as Astro. I'm like, I mean, I guess because of Cha and Woo enlisting, I'm like, I guess it would be a bit weird if it was just 3 of them. But I mean, it's ripe. The time's ripe. Sana doesn't have to enlist for a little while. The 2 other members on MJ has done his time. I say he'd done his time, like, so he went to prison. He's done his military service. Jinjin doesn't have to serve. They could just come back. But also, the last time they had a comeback, Rocky was still in the group, and so was Moonbin, and Unwoo wasn't in the military yet, so I guess it would be a bit weird as well. But I'm like, it's gonna be weird either way. You're coming back after a member has left, one passed away, and another one's just started his military. So I guess I kind of understand now. Yeah, would be a bit weird. But yeah, no, I've actually been kind of thinking, why don't they just debut another subunit? Because I'm like, obviously the 2 subunits that had previously been associated with Astro have disbanded. Like, they can't come back. Like, Rocky's no longer in the company, and the other reason. Sorry. But like, it doesn't mean that you still can't produce music under the Astro name. It just might be a bit different. I don't know. So, Boys Two Planets, Park Nuri and Kim Min-jun to obviously join Identity, and they will more than likely be in It's Not Over. Pre-debut member of You Never Met, can't remember his name, it will be debuting with Yes We Are instead, but then coming together with his previous subunit members to release something. I don't know. I can't remember. It's all confusing. It really is the most strangest thing I think I've ever tried to understand in my entire life. Like, you thought Triple S was complicated? No. Well, yeah. But Identity, I feel like it's just going to be just as confusing. I can already sense it. So, former Dia member Somi to make her solo debut, and Maiden to debut their Japanese subunit. Okie dokie. Oh my god, we're only on the 2nd page. No, Mr. Fly. Don't even think about trying to go on my drink. Okay, so on to legal action. My favourite. So, Song Ha-yoon's legal team gives an update about her case about school mistreatment. She filed a criminal complaint against Mrs. Oh, who is not complying with the investigation, and supposedly she never committed school violence against Mrs. Oh in the first place. Yeah, I can't remember the details on that one. The police are not going to continue to charge Hackneon, which is good, but I mean, his career is still over, so it's not that good. I have to get a little fan, get a notebook to fan myself. And Park Seo Joon is to get 5 million won in damages. Yu In receives a suspended prison sentence for his drug case, and let me tell you, I rejoiced when I found out this piece of information. Technically, it's not long enough, but it's still good. Tail has been sentenced to 3.5 years. Justice. It's not long enough, I will say. I do wish that they did go for the 7 years, but 3.5 years is still. It's still prison. He's still being like charged with his crimes. At least we know that he isn't gonna be out and about potentially committing more crimes for at least another 3.5 years, depending on actually when he gets put into prison, because it might actually still be awaiting, like, it still might be a while until he actually goes into prison, because I think they might have to decide on what sort of prison he's going to be in. And also, he still hasn't actually done his military service either. So I don't know kind of what happens with that. It might be 5.5 years before he is even allowed to be out in the public. Who knows? Hiatuses and health announcements. Yay! So Youngjun from TXT took a break due to the passing of a family member. Also, if you're wondering if you can hear, like if you can hear like weird wishing noises, I'm like rolling up bits of wool. Kina from 50/50 has returned from her hiatus due to PTSD. Kepler's Youngyun to take a break from activities and to come back due to health issues. Boat is to have a knee surgery and will be resting for a little bit. US's Youngjae to perform sitting due to a microfracture in his little toe, I believe. So there's a fly on my laptop. Pentagon Tweed to halt activities due to a fractured nose. Kiss of Life's. I love how it's not even. I didn't even put Belle's name. It literally just says Kiss of Life's. Kiss of Life's belted it out from Fansign due to tummy ache. TWS's Do-hoon sat out the July 18th of July Japan show due to worsening health, and Pentagon's Yan'an to temporarily halt activities due to a benign brain tumour and subsequently needing surgery. I actually told that to my sister and she was like, holy shit. I'm like, yes. I actually didn't know whether or not to put Pentagon's Yan'an because obviously the group is not active anymore, but I put it just in case. Victon's Lim Sejun and Ace's Kang Yu-chan no longer participate in KCON due to health issues, and Monster X's I Am also Shankyun to temporarily halt activities due to back pain. Simoname has a new member called... member changes. Simoname has a new member called Shuhui, and Kaylee has left Feature and JYP. Valid. That girl's been through so much. Yeah. So, military announcements. Woozy and Hoshi from 17 to enlist on the 15th and the 16th of September. And we actually know that Hoshi will be, will be on the front lines. He will be in active. Soloist Dawn has been discharged as of the 11th of July. Rowoon is to actually delay his military service due to health issues, and Woods has been discharged as of the 21st of July. Lee, Juyeon, Shuhwa, Alan, and Sui to host a all-day project. Oh, this is music shows, by the way. All Day Project get their first ever music win with Famous on M Countdown. From Nine to get their first music show win for I Like You Better. Esper gets their first music show win for Dirty Work on Inkigayo. Ahof gets their second win on Show Champion from Rendezvous. And Esper also got a win with Dirty Work on Music Bank, I think. Births and pregnancies now. AOA's Yuna is pregnant. KCM and wife are expecting their first child. Lee Seon is expecting her first child due to IVF. And Lee GR and her husband have welcomed their first child. And now we get on to people who have unfortunately passed away. So, actress Lee Seo-yi passed away at the age of 43 on the 20th of June. Former FA Ball member Jae-hyun passed away at the age of 23 due to leukemia. Lee Min-ho, actor Lee Min-ho's dog, has passed away at 16. Kang So-ah passes away from cancer at only 31. And Kim Jung-min's mother has passed away. Next. And we have some tour and performance announcements. Rise will go on from a world tour after their Seoul concerts. BTS will be going on tour after their album releases. From Miss 9 announces US for stops for their world tour. Zero Base 1 will be going on a world tour. Winner announces stops for their Asia tour. Cat's Eye to go on the North American tour. G-Dragon actually cancelled his Bangkok show, and Park Hyun-sik to have a concert in September, and Big Bang's Taeyang to have his first ever fan meeting since debut. Kidoki. And we're on to the last section. Yay! So ITZY's Yuna. is to make her acting debut. Scooter Braun is to step down from being the Hive America CEO. I don't know if he's still doing stuff within the company. Promise 9 to release a new version of their light stick. Han So Hee to release a light stick. All 8 members of ATEEZ have renewed their contracts for another 7 years. The boys are to release a new version of their light stick. MC Mong steps down to the producer of 1 for 100. Actually, Brosnan visits his wife Barbie Sue's grave every day. And singer Gummy is pregnant with her second child, which I probably should have put in the pregnancy bit, but I forgot. But yeah, thank you as always for listening. Next month we're 22 when I'm talking about stuff, because that's how maths works. But yeah, thank you as always for listening. It's always an absolute pleasure being able to talk all things K-pop. Yeah, thank you as always for listening, and I'll talk to you guys again very, very soon. Bye.